What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. It's my favorite time of the month again. Inside EVs has just released its US monthly plug-in sales scorecard. This is basically a list they put out every single month of the best-selling electric cars in the country. It's super important and awesome to track if you're a Tesla fan because they have the monthly estimated Tesla sales. These aren't official from the company, but they are pretty accurate. And so let's just dive right into it. Model 3 for the 8th straight month this year was the best-selling electric car in the country, selling a record 17,800 units. This is, incredible numbers from Tesla. If you'll remember, they delivered about 14,250 units in July, but they had a little bit of an overhang from June as they were delaying deliveries to avoid triggering a federal tax credit. So, given that and adjusting for that, you can see that the growth has continued here. 17,800 cars in a month. If we divide that by the 5 weeks in August, that's about 3,500 cars per week on average, not produced, but delivered. And that's just in the US here. A ton of the people will say, oh, that's still not 5,000 per week. And, they said they wanted to hit this production milestone of 5,000 per week. Tesla's 5,000 per week production number is a burst production rate, how many they can do in a week if they're running production at full steam. But, as we've seen, these type of manufacturing companies often have to shut down their line for a couple days, maybe a week, where they're not producing cars. So for Tesla to sustain a rate of delivering cars, which means their delivery infrastructure is catching up as well, of over 3,500 cars in the month of August is incredible progress. I mean, just to put it in context, here's the chart of Model 3 deliveries by quarter. If we take it just the first 2 months in July and August of Q3, in just the US, not even assuming Canada, you can see that they've already delivered 32,050 Model 3s. That's up 74% quarter over quarter, and we still have a month left in the quarter where they're growing production. According to my estimate, Tesla's going to sell about 57,500 Model 3s in Q3 for the full quarter. This is based on what they're doing today, extrapolated with a little growth. Additionally, in the Q2 shareholder letter, Tesla announced or guided for production of between 50 to 55,000 Model 3s and deliveries slightly higher than that. So that's another way I'm getting to that 57,500 number. And the growth rate on that for the full quarter would be 212% sequential growth in Model 3 deliveries. I mean, these numbers don't lie. And in a second, I'm going to put these numbers in context for what the other luxury auto companies are doing. But first, let's compare the Model 3 to the Chevy Bolt, which originally was the Tesla killer, the car that was going to come out at half the price of a Tesla with just as much range, that was just as good. Well, look at what's happened since the Model 3 has hit the market. I mean, it's not even close. This month, in August, the Model 3 outsold the Chevy Bolt 14.5 to 1. I mean, you cannot make this up. This is the car that was supposedly going to outsell and crush Tesla. Anyway, if we take a look at, the top selling electric vehicles, and these are just battery electric vehicles, not plug-in hybrids, in the US throughout the first 8 months of this year, you can see Tesla has the top 3 best-selling electric vehicles in the country, and no one is even really close to catching up with them in terms of market share. The Bolt and the Leaf, 4th and 5th there. But, Tesla, this is the data that shows they're just dominating the electric vehicle market here in the US. And now you might be asking, what about the Porsche Mission E, the Taycan, the supposed Tesla killer? Well, that's been having delays, still isn't even selling here in the US. It's not even registering a single sale this month in August. And now, what about the Jaguar I-Pace? Isn't that supposed to come out and be the Tesla killer? Well, still not selling in the US due to delays, not a single delivery in August. Goose egg for the Taycan and the Jaguar I-Pace there. Anyway, now let's take a look at the plug-in market as a whole. As you can see, plug-in sales have been growing pretty consistently here in the US. Through August, we already have 187,000 sales, almost as much as the full year last year. And if we take a look at, a comp of the first 8 months of the year versus the first 8 months of last year, you can see that plug-in growth has been incredible, up 55% this year. So this has really been a breakout year for electric vehicles. If we take a look at what I'm extrapolating for the full year, it used to be 300,000 cars, but because of Tesla's doing better than I expected, I've actually upped this estimate. So I'm projecting sales in 2018 about 310,000 electric vehicles here in the US. That's up 55% year over year. So although this is just a small amount of, the 15 million or so passenger cars sold in the US each year, it's about 2% of that total. It's rapidly rising, and that's what matters. If we take a look at the breakdown of US plug-in sales by Tesla and non-Tesla, you can see Tesla was, up there holding their own through 2017. But this year with the Model 3, their cheaper price model is absolutely blowing away the competition. They're responsible for almost all of the growth, actually more than all of the growth in the category this year. In my estimate, US plug-in sales are actually going to shrink without Tesla, in my opinion, because the Model 3 has been such a dominant force. But as you can see, I'm expecting Tesla to have over 50% of the US plug-in market in 2018. So that pretty much sums up my analysis of the US electric vehicle market. The Model 3 continues to ramp incredibly well. This is the news that nobody's paying attention to for Tesla. Everybody's getting wrapped up in Elon Musk's tweets, the whole go private saga, and they've totally lost sight of the most important fundamental of Tesla, which is how many Model 3s they're selling. They hit a record this month in the US, 17,800 cars. And what's so epic about this is that, of course, they've been dominating the electric vehicle market for months now, but now Tesla's actually beginning to dominate the overall luxury auto market. So just to put things in perspective here, Audi, for example, Audi of America in the US delivered a total of 19,800 cars in the month of August. Now for Tesla for the month of August, if we add in the Model S, which had sales of 26,625, and the Model X, which had sales of 2,750, then we get total US sales for Tesla of 23,175 cars in the month of August. So, they've outsold Audi in the month of August, which only sold 19,800 cars. Now let's go to Mercedes. Mercedes-Benz USA only sold 20,339 units for all of its vehicle lineup. Now let's go to BMW, which according to Inside EVs here in the US, sold just about 14,450 cars for the month of August. So Tesla now is scaled so rapidly that literally almost overnight, they have been doing in the US more sales than Audi, Mercedes, and BMW. And that's not in one category, that's overall in the US. So, I believe this is the data that gets me so excited as a tree hugger that we are really going electric. I mean, Tesla's industry impact is really being felt. BMW passenger car sales in the US for the month of August were down 14%. Mercedes also passenger vehicle sales were down almost 20%, year over year in the month of August. So I believe this is not a coincidence. The Model 3 is doing so well and taking market share that legacy auto companies relying on the internal combustion engine in that luxury segment are starting to really feel the pain. And now, just for fun, let's run a really quick calculation here. 17,800 Model 3s times an average selling price of $55,000 per car, annualized by 12 months a year, is equivalent to $11.75 billion in revenue. So Model 3, assuming the program doesn't grow at all from where it was in August, single-handedly is doing $11.5 billion in revenue. Tesla did about $11.5 billion in revenue in the entire year in 2017 for all of its product lines. So, Model 3, the product line that didn't exist a year ago, is now up and running at almost a $12 billion run rate and growing. And Tesla, as a company, is now trading for about $50 billion overall. So that just puts into context how much growth we've seen. And for the full year, I'm expecting Tesla to post around 22 billion in revenue, up almost 100% from the prior year. So that is what gets me so excited about Tesla. The market share numbers are here. They're dominating. They're growing like crazy. I can't wait to make another video next month when the September numbers come out. So be on the lookout for that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Huge shout out to all of our current Patreon supporters and producers. That means a ton. You should definitely check out our Patreon page if you want to learn more about that. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.